Hi, my name is Charlie LeBeau and I'm setting up my own piercing parlour, and this is basically going to be a video diary, a bit of a compilation of what I've done, how I've done it, how long it's taken and the end results hopefully. Some of you might be aware that I've recently been on Princess Trust course. Princess Trust is a charity set up to help young people, and I got pointed to it by a friend of mine. Now, it all came about because of dreadlocks. I make synthetic extensions and I work out of salons offering my services so people can come into a salon environment and get them done. I've not been doing it very long, in salons anyway. I've made dreads for myself for years and years, and I set up in a salon and then I set up in another salon. It's actually the second salon that found out I did piercing. It might sound a bit cliche. Piercing is really hard to get into. Like most industries that are vocationally based, you really have to try hard. People think that getting into university and getting a degree is everything, but honestly vocational ones, it's tough. And piercing is something I've been doing, or trying to do, for a long time. Apprenticeships, training courses, you name it, been there, done that. But actually getting into a shop has been the trouble. I move around a lot, so permanency hasn't always been my strong point. And unfortunately a few jobs have fallen through because of relocation. But finally, I was asked to come and do piercing in this salon where I'm doing dreadlocks. Now, problem was, I have no money. And for those of you who are piercers or are interested in piercing, you'll all know how expensive some of the equipment can get. Which is why piercing costs so much when you get it done properly. And there was no way for me to be able to afford it. I couldn't get a small loan from a bank, because the smallest loans most banks do is $7.5 grand. I certainly can't afford to pay that back right now. So then I found out about the Princess Trust. They have a course called the Enterprise Program, and you can check all this out on their website. And the Enterprise Program is aimed at 18 to 30-year-olds who want to start their own business and need business advice and possible funding. I needed both, desperately. So I went along to a 4-day course, and this course was fantastic. I was so worried that I would be bad at business, because I've never really had a head for figures. I scraped by my GCSEs. Maths has always worried me and it stresses me out and I panic, and if calculators weren't invented, I don't think I'd be here today. It's that bad. But they went through bookkeeping with me. I mean, there was like 25 of us in the course, which is apparently twice as many people as they normally have, so it was a bit manic. But went through bookkeeping, they went through marketing and promotions, which is thankfully something I have some experience in due to my studies in music and music promotion. We did lots of different branding techniques. We had guest speakers in from banks and people who had been on the course and had made a success of their business. It was brilliant. Everyone was so helpful, and the people in my little table area were fantastic. There was an inventor, there was a girl who wanted to set up her own fashion boutique, there was a girl who wanted to set up her own nursery, a dog trainer. It was for everybody, and this course applies to anyone who wants to run their own business and be self-employed and only have to rely on themselves, which in this climate, as anybody in the UK will know, is worth doing, because none of us have any job security anymore, which is sad. But if you don't like something, change it, which is what I'm doing. I've always wanted to be self-employed anyway. Look at me. Who's going to hire me anyway? And piercing is the way to go for me. So I went on this course and it was fantastic and I loved it. Still in contact with some of my Princess Trust buddies, and tomorrow I'm going to a business launch party, which is terrifying. I've got to go in to a meeting with people who have reviewed my business plan, have read the notes from my Princess Trust guide on my business and my business plan, and then they decide whether or not they can approve me for funding, which is scary, because if these guys say no, that's it. I can't afford to start up, at least not anytime soon. As for the business plan, well, if anybody has ever done one, you'll know how much of a stress it is. Thankfully the Princess Trust have a guidebook and basically a template for a business plan, because without it, I wouldn't have been able to do half of what was in there. It's a nightmare, honestly. I'm so glad I don't have to do it again. It's worth doing, don't get me wrong. It's so useful. Man, I must have spent 3 hours just on an equipment list. 3 hours. It was mad. But I've got this meeting tomorrow, and they're going to question me on my business plan, demand answers about certain things, funding, commission rates, equipment lists, reliability, premises, everything and anything they can think of, to see whether or not I'm a suitable person to invest in. And I really hope they say yes, because I'm terrified they're going to say no, because I really, really want this to take off. I have so many ideas for the parlour, and for the opening day it's going to be fantastic. I don't know how many of you have got piercings. I'm going to assume most of you have at least got your ears pierced. Got mine done. And sometimes when you go into piercing parlours it can be a bit grim. It's very sterile. Sometimes the piercers are a bit rough around the edges and a bit gruff. And it doesn't always feel that inviting. And obviously, anything, you go in there knowing it's going to hurt, which isn't very nice. And sometimes the unfriendly atmosphere, the sterileness of it, although it's comforting in a professional manner, isn't always that great when you're a bit nervous. And I want my parlour to be the most welcoming, friendly place ever. I want people to come in there and think, oh, I'm not so worried anymore. This is a nice place to be. And I'm giving it a 50s look, because I love all that stuff. I think it's fantastic. I want it to look like an ice cream parlour, but with needles. I think it'd be great to just have somewhere to go that isn't aimed at young people that look like they're into death metal. I could name some piercing parlours that are a bit elitist, but I'm refraining from anything like that. Some piercing parlours aren't really piercing parlours because they're tattoo studios who get a piercer in once a week. I want my place to be dedicated to educating and to informing and to be welcoming. I want people to be able to come in and say, oh, my friend's got a piercing and it looks nice, I was thinking about getting it, but I don't know anything about piercings. Can you tell me where this piercing originally came from, what it means, what hygiene procedures you go through to make everything sterile, all that sort of stuff. I would be happy to answer questions like that, as long as people get pierced safely in an environment where they feel safe and everything is above board. I've seen so many places that seem, ooh, I wouldn't want to go there just because of how it presents itself, and that worries me, that people are going in places like that. It's like going to a bad tattooist. If you don't want to pay the money, don't get it done. If it looks dodgy, don't get it done. If you can't see certificates and hygiene awards and feel comfortable with who is there, don't get it done. It's as simple as that. If people come into my parlour and decide, nah, she's too young, she can't be experienced enough, and walk out, that's fine. Because if people don't feel comfortable, there's no point. You've got to be able to trust the person who's modifying you as much as anybody else that does anything to change your appearance. Modifying, especially though, piercings and tattoos, because if somebody screws up, that could be really bad for you. It could damage your health. It could damage your body permanently. The amount of people I talk to online and they're saying, oh, I'm going to pierce my septum. Why? Because it's cheap and I can do it because my friend did hers. Don't be stupid. If cartilage gets infected, it can get really nasty. It can disintegrate. And that would leave you with just a single nostril. Nobody wants to look like a crackhead. No one. Although I can imagine I do when I get out of bed in the morning. It's just so unsafe. And people are willing to put their bodies on the line for the sake of 20 quid. Don't have the money, don't get it done. Don't do it yourself. You could hurt yourself. I want people to be able to come to me and say, oh, it's a bit expensive. Why is it worth it? And I can tell them. That's what I'm aiming to do, is to educate and to help people. and to provide a service that's not only professional and safe, but is welcoming and friendly and fun. I want little girls to want to come to me to get their ears pierced. I want to have those big scary metalhead guys come over and say, yeah, my rad done, but I'm scared. And I want them to trust me to do it. I want to get people like my mum coming in to get a belly button pierced and thinking, it's okay, I like it here. But anyway, none of this can happen if I don't get my proof of my loan tomorrow. So fingers crossed. I'm getting all prepared today, after making this video, of course, and I think everything's in order. The only thing I need to worry about now is paying for my hepatitis B jabs. Fun! Anybody who knows me will know how much I despise getting injections. Which is really, really ironic. I get physically sick when I'm injected. It's more than a phobia. It's like an allergy. It needs to be done. And, well, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I don't want to give anybody hepatitis. Damn well don't want to give hepatitis to me. Thank you very much. Anyway, I'm going to leave you to it now. I'm going to go for a smoke and a cup of tea and have a run about the garden with my pet puppy. If anybody has any questions or is interested in what I'm doing, please don't hesitate to message me, give me a poke or send me a comment, anything you like, because that's what I do. I like to answer questions. As you might be able to tell from behind me, I have quite a lot of reading material because I love to learn and I love to teach to a certain extent. I ain't going to teach you how to pace yourself. Jog on. And I will update soon. I'm going to keep doing these video diaries, not just for you guys. As much as I love to tell everybody how I'm getting along, I'm also doing it for me. I want a memento, I want to document this, and I want to look back at in 20 years time and say, this is how I started. This is my empire now, and that's what it was. A video recording on a camera, and a stroke of luck. And a shit ton of hard work. Don't forget, kids. If you want something, go get it. Don't just sit there and grumble about how rubbish your life is. Can't do anything. Bullshit. If you want to achieve something in life, if you want to be well known, don't go online and post a picture of your tits. If you want to, that's fine, but don't do it for attention. Don't do it for fame. If you want to be remembered in this world, do something remarkable. Change something. Motivate yourself. Because there are so many people out there who have done it. It's not impossible. I hope I'm going to be one of those other people. Changing my life for the better. I need a cigarette.